it. Strategy.
All right, go for it.
Okay.
Well, so like this weekend I'm on call, so I can't actually get out in the middle of nowhere to do my ruck thing. So the time between work is really going to be Friday through Sunday, Monday, periods like that. So I assume that my week that I have, I can bracket 7 days in whichever order I want, because the only time I'm going to be able to do it between working is over the weekend. So I assume that the week doesn't start Sunday through Saturday. It's just whatever 7 days you bracket out on either end of that, or?
Yeah, and it's super flexible. I mean, that's why we're calling it a run challenge versus a race per se. One of the things that I think that is really interesting about both the SERE, well, really not the SERE mile, but the late arrivals challenge in general is, how you fit your mileage in there. And some people have asked, could they do an 18-mile block, have a couple days rest, do a 32-mile block, have a couple days rest, go for a 50, have a couple days rest, and then hit the SERE mile within the rules of the SERE mile. And I think that that's legit. It's a run challenge, so it's however you want to sequence that out. You don't necessarily need to do it. But I think for us, when we go to look at the awards and handing out, what we would consider to be the top 3 award people, what we would be looking at is, cumulative time. So the time that you start the first mile and the time that you start your 50-mile block, that's really what we're shooting for in terms of that. So if people are going to pace it out by the week, that's great. If people are going to try to cram it, that's great. But just make sure that you have good documentation that you did an 18-mile chunk and you recorded that, and you did a 32-mile chunk and you recorded that, and down the line. So hopefully that answered your question. What's up, Denny? Did that answer that, Andrew? You're muted. Oh, wait,
Well, so I am going to ask the same question, but a different way. So one strategy that we thought about was, if the weeks do run Saturday through Sunday or Saturday through Friday night, waiting until Friday night of this next week, do a 50, then that next week do another challenge, but do it very quickly. And then you can actually cut like 10 days off the whole month of the runs. Is that a valid strategy, or does it matter? It's each one is individually added.
No, it is. Just make sure that you can document each specific run. So if it takes you 4 days to complete your 50, just show that you actually can complete 2 different runs.
How do we submit those runs?
Good question, Kevin. So what we're going to do is on the website, you'll see, especially if you're in the late arrivals, this is key. In the late arrivals, you have to submit your time for each one, but you're not going to it won't actually record, an 18-mile time. This is what it is. So for the late arrivals, you're going to submit your time in the submit results, and you're going to have multiple submissions that will be into that. So let's say you finished an 18-mile run, and it took you 48 hours to do. You would go in, you document 48 hours, and then you would just continue on. So we would see all the different time separations inside of there.
Okay. Can we show them with Garmin screenshots or something like that? Or
you can, and just be prepared for it. Right now, we're just looking at the honored system until we start getting in towards the later end, and you start seeing yourself maybe ranked up a little higher than normal. Just be prepared that if you're within that top 5, we're going to award probably the top 3, but just be prepared in that top 5 to submit those after the race. And if you are, what we'll do is we'll send you a Google form, and it'll allow you to update all of your information with pictures and everything that you need. So if you're doing it on an app, a screenshot off your phone is perfectly fine as well.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
Any of the event times, right? So if you're doing the ruck race and you're doing the 50-miler, you don't necessarily need to document each person's time. You just need to document the date and time of when you started and the date and time of that last mile that was ended. So as an example, whoever's running the first leg, they would want to document the date and time of that, the time they started, and then Lisa finishing in Washington, she would need to make sure that she recorded the date and time for that. And that's what you would get for your culminated time.
Okay.
And then we would just adjust for being on opposite coasts.
Yep. Yeah.
I have one question about ruck teams, because in the past, if somebody fell out during their leg and someone else had to take over, we can still do that.
Yep.
So we can just if we all are short miles, Lisa can make them up in the end and
Exactly. So you can knock out.
do her 20. So, good. So it's all just getting 50 miles done between 5.
Well, Lisa won't have to go back and find a Marine.
No.
Not this time. Not this time.
Probably retell that story too.
That's too funny. Hey, I'm going to share my screen real quick, if I can, just because I want to show everybody and people who are watching this. Oh, that's going to kick us off, possibly. Can you guys see my desktop?
Not at the moment.
It's wet somehow.
Hey, what's up, Smith? How's it going?
What up?
Nice.
What's up, Schmidt?
Shalom.
Okay, is everybody seeing my screen now?
Yeah.
Yes.
So let me pull up the website here. We're actually just getting prepared for the SERE Memorial tomorrow. So we've got some pictures and things like that that we're gonna throw down. The thing that I wanted to show you was the race website. When it comes to results, you'll see this results tab right here. And you just click on that. And this is where you'll go through and you'll start to submit your results and see the live results as they come in. So whether you're a ruck team, one person just needs to go in and submit results for the ruck team. If you're a single person doing the event, whether you're the 18, 30, 50, 100, SERE mile, or any of the challenges that we do, all you're going to do is you're going to come up here and you're going to submit your virtual results. You can look up your name and you'll find your registration. Once you're here, then you can submit your results and just enter your time. So for your late arrivals folks that are doing that, you're going to submit this multiple times. If you're an 18 mile, 50 or whatever, once you complete the mileage, you'll just come in here and you'll submit your total allowable time that's in place. So it's actually fairly easy to do in that sense. I don't know if you guys know, but if, you know, some of you that have been involved with virtual races before love the idea of running with bibs and things like that. You have an automatic bib assignment. So if you look up your name underneath the Find a Participant tab, what you can do is you can come over here and you can click on your bib number and it'll allow you to print a bib assignment or your bib for, you know, if you want to go out and have your bibs and that kind of deal.
Nice.
That's a pretty cool feature that's part of this, part of the website, which I think is really awesome to have. So that's really all that we have in terms of the little nuances for submitting results. If you were looking and you wanted to see, like at the end of the week, what the results look like that people were submitting, you could come in here and you could select whatever your event is, and you can find all the people that are associated with the late arrivals, or if they're doing the virtual 18, you can find all the people associated with that and start to see the results that are in place.
Did you have any ruck teams that were signed up for the original race stay on? Didn't necessarily show up on.
There are a few that were, there were a few that are going virtual. I can't remember which ones off the top of my head were there. Most of the other folks deferred into 2020. But we've started to get a bunch of teams that have come in, over the last probably 2 or 3 days.
Mhm.
And you can see that some of them are pretty creative with their ruck names. I think you're what, Prestige Worldwide?
Prestige Worldwide.
We got 3. So ruck team names right now that we have are pretty. We have Cannon SERE, obviously from the Air Force Base. We have Rolling Your Shoulders Up, 3 Broke Dudes, Family Tree, that's the Corwins, and then UCK 2020, Team 1, 2, and 3, which I'm guessing are Florida groups. So I think it'll be a good time with the Ruckers. For a while there, I thought the Family Tree was going to have it with the 50 mile. I thought you guys were going to take it landslide, but you look
Yeah, we were. We were going to be first, second, third, and last.
Toilet seat can't travel.
All we want to do is finish.
That's right. That's right.
No toilet seat issue.
Looks like we got a couple more folks on. Let's see.
Soboleski.
Soboleski, what's going on?
That'd be a good story out of him.
What do you mean? What's a good story out of me?
Oh man, you were there in 15 for the great save.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the trip. Jason didn't carry jerry cans up to the top of the mountain. Is he here to defend himself?
He's muted right now.
It's pretty much all Jason's fault.
Why, dude? Why?
It was a hot summer.
It was a hot summer.
And one of the things that we wanted to do, while we got a bunch of you on, is let Henry go over the medals of what they look like for the finisher medals right now. Having to turn this so quickly into a virtual event, Henry has definitely stepped up to the plate in terms of getting us some really cool setup for the Finishers Awards. So I'll let you take over, bro, and you can
right.
walk some of the stuff.
So first, I guess we can go over some swag. If I understand correctly, you're going to put this up on the site, and then whoever wants to buy it, they just purchase it from the site.
Yep. Yeah, so you'll see there's a tab for those of you that are on right now and listening in the future. There's a tab on the website for swag. You can go on there, and we have hoodies, and we also have, here we go. This is actually the hoodie. This is the same T-shirt weight as the Connected 50 shirts that we have in the past. Got the cool SERE and Dogs challenge on the front. So that's for sale, and then anything that Henry's got that he's going to show us right now is going to come out.
Yeah, so I'm going to throw like items like this you guys have seen before, that I've done the cups for the K50, and of course the Corwin water bottles and stuff. Some coffee cups. I'll do some other color options. Oh. Some water bottles. I'll probably throw some SERE stuff up there too, like strictly just flash, some Palmia, just some things to draw more money for the memorial. And for this, minus the cost of shipping, all the proceeds are going to go straight to the memorial. None of that goes in my pocket or anybody else's, so it'll just go straight to the memorial, minus shipping, of course. Then for the SERE, the 100 mile, looking at more big, beefy hunks of wood that we like to keep doing for these races, and I got a bit carried away. It's like 2 inches thick. But
I'm going
the
to put
reason I did that is so that it can stand on its own. So it's nice and solid, like the blocks that we've done, for years, and incorporating the new shape and logo design. It's got a flat bottom, so it'll sit proud as a desk piece, and there's also a keyhole in the back if you want to hang it on a wall. And then the last one for the late arrivals, it's going to be a bit scaled down from this one, but pretty much the same thing. about 2 inches thick, real nice, flat bottom so it can be displayed. Except for on the late arrivals, we're going to actually engrave on the back, kind of like they're welcoming into that special club of being in the late arrivals. It's going to be very similar to the blister club that we run with the Corwin race. So these guys will be like indoctrinated into it, and they'll have a personalized message, and their name will actually be put on the back.
You broke your wrist dropping one of those on it?
Yeah. Lots of fun improvising here in the shop, trying to haul boards around with one hand.
I'm just gonna flash my coveted 2014
Oh yeah.
first place overall co-ed.
Nice.
Those are the ones
Did you make that?
Jason.
I think Reed made those.
Remember that 2014.
Oh.
And then something I'm still working on is the actual finished medals for 18, 32, 50, and the ruck teams. I'm just trying to shrink down all the new verbiage into a good size so everybody doesn't look like Flavor Flav is presenting some challenges. But they'll be done. Probably going to do an oval that's very similar to the SERE mile. It'll probably just be a smaller version of this so that it can go as far as like a finisher's medal. I'm hoping to have those, have a picture to Ricky in the next, probably by tomorrow. I'm falling behind, but it's no one's fault but mine.
Yeah, working with one hand, of course.
But it's, hey, first world problems. There's a lot worse things happening in the world right now. I'm just moving a little slower.
That is true.
But I'll put up some other stuff too after some feedback. I'll get pictures of the bottles and things because I know, and then you and I can talk later more offline about shipping, because I know it's going to be kind of silly for me to ship all of this stuff to you at Tucson, and then you're going to ship it all out after people buy it off the website. So maybe it's something we can do like a drop ship.
Sure.
All the medals and stuff can go to you guys because you're going to package them up with the shirts and stuff anyway. But maybe like the water bottles, the cups, I'll throw bottle openers. And if people want other stuff too, I can throw other examples that they can buy to help raise money for the memorial. So, and whatever people purchase that's something that I make, everything will go to the memorial.
Awesome, man. Thanks very much for that.
Yeah, and maybe we can drop ship it to try to save a little bit of money. If you just tell me where it's going, I'll just throw it in the mail.
And I think there's a way on the website that we can set up so you get notified whenever merch is purchased.
Okay.
And you're able to go in there and take a look and see what was purchased and where it needs to go.
Okay, that sounds like a good option for us. Then that way we're not paying shipping twice.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Anything else for medals?
I think that's it for me.
I think they're going to look great.
Oh, they will. It's just a matter of getting them dialed in. Getting the prototypes is the difficult part.
Yeah.
Trying to make you happy.
Yeah. Whatever.
Once they're dialed in, then it's just rinse and repeat. It's just hard getting them, you know, what's going on in Austin's brain and your brain, and then in my brain, and try to mix it all together to come out into a physical product.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Tommy driving?
Yeah.
Nice.
Set a bad example for the kids.
Of course.
Oh, that's good.
This will be Tommy's first year participating.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to say I've been a bum, but I know you guys are going to say it for me.
We got a couple other folks called in too, it looks like. Who else is on here? Smith, holy cow, man. What's going on?
Who is it?
Crusette. What's up, brother?
Later, Roger.
Oh, there's the other Schmidt, Sobo.
Hola.
We got a family meeting going on.
So I wanted to show quickly, you guys saw the hoodies. So here's what the event shirts look like. They'll have, you guys can see that. I don't know, it might be too dark. Here's the SERE logo, flag on the front. All of our sponsors, same deal on the back. This time they're in color, which is pretty cool. The shirts are done locally here by Arabipa Artworks. It's, where Julie works at these days. And it's one of the big racing event companies that are down here in Phoenix, but they also do a lot of the awards and t-shirts for their own piece, and they've definitely hooked us up with the shirts, knowing that everything's going to a good cause. So, and they're the ones that put together the t-shirts as well as the hoodies for us, and then probably do some other logistical things for us to get a lot of the shirts out as well. But as we said before, all of the proceeds for this event are going. The community's been trying to been talking about it for a long time, so the more people that are in this, the better.
Okay, stop.
Who's that? Who's Tommy? Do you know?
Tommy,
Hey, Tommy, can you mute?
Okay. That's awesome. So what other questions do you all have in terms of the event? Nothing? Sweet. So there has been a couple questions that have come across the email. One of them was results. We kind of already talked about that. What I'm going to do tomorrow morning is I'll post a how-to video of how to actually go in and enter your time result. And that'll be a link that will pin on the Canixu Ultras Facebook page. And we'll also send that out in an email as well. And make sure that everybody at least has that so you know what's up. If you're a ruck team, you just keep track of the start. Really, any event, you need to keep track of the day time of when you start and when you finish. And then that total amount of time is your culminating time frame that you've got. If you're late arrivals, you're going to have multiple entries. Every time that you finish a distance, you're going to enter a time for that as well. One thing that I wanted to show you guys, and I think this might actually kick off a little bit of some storytelling here, is I'm wondering if maybe Denny might be able to give us a little story about what he remembers from how come I can't get rid of that? Let's see. Did I take a picture of that? Thought I did. Oh, man, I don't have the screenshot anymore. Thought I did.
Hey guys, I gotta get going. I'm heading out to dinner.
All right, sounds good, Kevin. Talk to you later.
All right.
I don't have the picture anymore, but it was a picture of Merez laying down on a cot, and we were just kind of wondering, we were texting back and forth and kind of wondering what that whole deal was, why he was racked out at one of the K50 events. Do you remember that, Denny?
Yeah, he was running a rescue mission.
What's that?
He was coordinating the rescue that
Dirty fool.
came up from Nevada and got lost.
Dirty fool. At that point in time.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you're right.
There it was. I was in charge.
You're right. You're right. I took a knee. God damn it. Paid $6 grand for stem cells. I was just letting stem cells grow. That's all I could do. You guys are killing me.
We had a string when we were planning out this virtual event. We had a string of text messages that was going back and forth in terms of like how we were going to make a Canixu 50 race director challenge. and what that challenge would look like. And it had like Merez hiking up granite with multiple jerry cans, coming back down, and then taking the comm radios and hiking it up on some other knoll. It's basically all about Merez doing all the work. It's pretty hilarious.
Oh, come on, man. Now, I know I wasn't doing all the work. I just know Karma liked to fuck with me the whole time. That was about it. How about you wake up at 4 a.m. and just keep going all day long? Silly little shit all day long. I love it, though. I love it.
Reed, for those of the folks that haven't really, have jumped in like the last couple of years, how did Kinnitsu 50 even come to be?
It was a the brainchild of many, but when Corin passed, we just kind of thought that would be an awesome way to commemorate him. And then I had always wanted to put ultra race up in the training area, and I thought marrying the two would have been a great idea. And I just put pen to paper and executed. Probably was bit off way more than I could chew the first year, but we pulled it off. It was a point-to-point race the first year with like pretty close to what the elevation gain is going to be this year, 12,000. But just logistically, it was madness. But people showed up, and we had a great race, and the Corwins took home the top co-ed team. So that was awesome. I mean, it was just a beautiful thing the first year. It really was. And it's turned into something now bigger than any of us, I think. I mean, I don't think it's ever going to die on the vine. I'll refuse to let that happen. And I think you being in charge now is you're taking it to levels that, I couldn't take it to. So we got a pretty awesome board members. I mean, everybody is awesome, and just the group of people that are here, I mean, have had some kind of participation, blood, sweat, given to the event, and that stuff. It's awesome to see, and I'm very appreciative for everybody's hard work through the years. I mean, it's definitely a family event, and it's going to continue to grow. So I'm excited to where we're going. This virtual thing's kind of cool. It'd be neat if we could, even if we have K50, maybe we do like a virtual, because there's so many people across the world, especially in SERE, that just can't participate. And as most SERE people do, they come out of the woodwork in like the final 2 days. So if you guys look at the signups now, they're like, I think it's gone up to 40 or so. And
About like 40
the last day or so. So yeah, I mean, it's awesome to see people participate and continue to commemorate those that can't go out and step foot on the trail anymore, So that's, to me, that's what hits hardest the most. So, we do these things because they can't, I mean, we lost another awesome human this year. And it was very close to, a lot of people on this chat right now. And, that stuff's sad to see. So what we do, SERE guys, on a daily basis isn't inherently dangerous, but a lot of things that we do are. And, when we do lose somebody, it's a big deal. And I don't want to ever let their memory die. I don't want to ever let that sacrifice be go unnoticed. So I think the SERE Memorial is a great idea. I caught wind of that, and apparently it's supposed to be, for those that have been in the Bud Day, the wooden statue that's in the Bud Day, it's going to be a 7-foot version of that. So pretty much like my stature, but just a little bit taller. So it's kind of what the perfect SERE guy would be. Winter class for sure. And,
oh, come on, dear.
This is all standard things that you want out of a good SERE guy. Definitely no summer class, no huckleberry stains. The only anomaly there, a winter class with a compass in his hand, that's kind of, he maybe not know how to use that quite yet. So.
That's why you have us go out and flag the damn trail for you still, Austin. You wouldn't know when you got to 50 miles or how to get there from here if it weren't for all the help.
When we were first talking about the virtual challenge, we actually had it set up for summer class distances.
Yeah.
Summer class distances were 100
Yeah.
and the winter class distances were 5 and 10Ks. Oh man, yeah, we've had some good talks about that, about how to set it up.
Sorry, Sobo, we didn't have a curl challenge. You definitely would have won that.
Hell yeah, I would have won. Bench press, you know what I mean? Run thing, but I'll push shit off my chest. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty cool, just to see how big the Kinsey Ultras has begun to grow. We had the K50 originally with the Ruck Relay, and we've also integrated the Tall Trees 29K, which is in memory of Schaefer. We also had, this year we would have put out the Sweet 50, which would have been in memory of Sweet as well. Would have been in K place, which would have been the 50K, which would have been 32 miles. And so, for the virtual race, those of you that are running, you're looking at an 18, 32, 50 miler, and then the 100 miler in 30 days, or the SERE mile, or the Tall Trees. And all of those have, in some shape or form, some kind of memorial built around each of those different distances that are in place, which I thought, would be pretty cool. The other race that we implemented last year was Tartarus. It was, essentially a last man standing, and Andrew, who were on here, participated in that last year and did pretty well. And I'm thinking they're also chomping at the bit to get at it again this upcoming year. Yeah, and so that's another super exciting thing. So this year the Tartarus event has a golden ticket for another ultra called Big's Backyard. And so the winner of our race, Tartarus, will get a golden ticket to that particular race, which right now is basically considered to be the world championship of last man standing races. And so every country gets a set amount of golden tickets that we'll have, and that is based on a ratio for the event that happens at Big's Backyard Ultra. And those of you that don't know what Big's Backyard is it's a race that was developed by Lazarus Lake, who is famous for the Barkley Marathons, as well as Ball State and a bunch of other really just kind of heinous hardcore racing. And that's essentially, you win, you're going to get tortured even more in October. So, that's the cool thing about that race. But yeah, I think we've grown. I mean, we've had the ability to be able to offer, and, in times of need, been able to put up money that's been donated from the community to be able to help as well, alongside the SERE Association. So we're super psyched about that too.
I think as long as the shipping costs for all those awards Tim had, I mean, as long as that's not too much, we may make some money out of this and actually have a donation. But look at that thing.
What does that weigh?
I think he's muted.
Got a little carried away. It gets a little carried away.
Yeah, that's why they have flat rate shipping. Don't worry.
Nick, do you see that award you're eyeing down, brother? Look how big that piece of wood is. That's what you're running for. You're running for that swag, brother.
And then your name engraved on the back of it.
I just want to run to finish, dude.
That's why they're called challenges, man. Not necessarily a race per se, especially for the SERE mile and the late arrivals for sure.
I love how many people just jumped right into the late arrivals challenge. Austin Schmidt, Nick Rousset. These guys are replacing each other on a. We can't even talk about that, but yeah. Top 5 in a certain place.
I was sleeping, and then my phone beeped and let me know the meeting was going on. Because I'm starting this thing at 2 a.m. to try to beat this East Coast heat and humidity. So
now I heard you were. Did I see somewhere that you're going to start down at the World War II Memorial in DC, or?
So that's what I wanted to do. I'm going to start at Mount Vernon tomorrow, and I'm going to head towards DC. If there's no riots going on, I might stop by the World War II Memorial, and I plan on visiting Arlington Cemetery. So may do some Facebook Lives and see if we can generate some more interest in this thing.
Yeah, for sure, bro, man. Thanks for that shout out too. That definitely helped as well.
Yeah, I talked to a couple people in England, some Brits actually, that told me they're going to sign up today, and I've seen a handful of other people sign up. So I think if we just keep getting people to pressure and send it out to friends and family, we can make this thing bigger. I should have done it sooner, but I didn't want to call anybody out until I had signed up, and I was a little on the fence. Where I'm at, I didn't know what distance I was going to do, and then I finally just decided to go all in. So.
Right, man.
I literally text my entire contact list on Wednesday. I just sent out mass text, and shame is it's a great motivator. Door-to-door shame, especially at the 336. Door-to-door shame, knife hands. It's outstanding way of motivating.
Yeah, I think when I do my Facebook Live, I'll end it with like an ice bucket challenge style thing, and any SERE guy that watches the video must complete a challenge.
Hey, you should,
that's awesome, dude.
Aren't you a summer class? You should probably get some berry stains on your hands and then.
That's why you can
go distance, dude. I'm concerned about the people that sign up for late arrivals that are winter class. All they know is snowshoes and 5K. So, Julie, you're in the late arrivals.
As are you, Ricky.
I am.
Yeah. Is she going to beat you? That's
probably. She beat me in the vertical challenge that we did last week.
That was 1 foot.
In-house.
She beat me by 1 foot. We did a double Everest challenge last week.
1 foot.
2 weeks ago, and beat me by a foot. It was messed up.
Well, I'm starting with 18 miles tomorrow morning at 6:30 in the morning, so.
Yeah, that's not me. I'm not doing that.
Going all in first.
I get a head start.
So there's a group of ladies out here in Phoenix that are going out tomorrow to start their race. They're in the late arrivals as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're going to knock out 18 tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll do 18 for this one. One of them's starting on Wednesday, her 100-miler in 90.
Yeah, it's the SERE mile.
Yeah.
Nick, aren't you going all in first?
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting at 5 a.m. and start my 100-miler tomorrow morning.
Nice.
Gonna go with the 100 miles.
Dang, dude. I was thinking about that too, man, and then the lazy part got a hold of me, and I was like, I need a few more Oreos in me, dude, before I can get this SERE mile going.
Well, I figure if I do anything else, I'll get too sore, and then I'll not want to do it later. So I just better knock it out to start it off.
I know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I think we had planned for possibly next weekend doing the 100.
Yeah.
Doing
We're
the
going to
SERE
go up
mile.
north a little bit. Like 110 degrees right now, so.
Yeah.
At least get below 90.
And the thing too is that for those of you who are watching, Al Bopp signed up for the late arrivals challenge. So if that old dude down there in Florida can knock this out and at least try, then I think a lot of other SERE brothers and sisters should be able to get up on this. It'll be good.
He signed up his daughter too. Did he tell you that?
Yeah.
He signed up his daughter for the 50 mile.
She's planning on doing the 50 in the last 5 days or 7 days, I think.
Did you even ask her?
We signed her up, and then so she's going to go on a road show. She's going on a road trip with her family, her other side of moms, and then when she gets back, she's going to stay here the last like 8 or 9 days and just start to rock it out on the treadmill. So that's her goal, is 50 in 5 or 6 days, I think is what.
Didn't she say last week that she's going to do a mile every hour for 24 hours.
Yeah. So one of the goals that she has is to do 1 mile every hour for 24 hours for her challenge. So that'll be her thing. I think she's going to be a new Tartarus here pretty soon.
I think she's going to be hating life 10 hours in.
Probably.
I'm just sitting here in Ricky's house wondering, does he have air conditioning?
Dude, this side of the house, my whole back is completely sweaty.
I think Ricky keeps his house at 82 degrees in Arizona.
I think we can fix that.
I don't know.
This side of the house is so hot. It's so funny. I was thinking I was the only one that was sweating it out. I'm like, oh man, this is a good bad water challenge right here.
76.
Yeah, you learn in Arizona like 78. Like that's a pretty conservative temperature in the summer. I like to keep my house at like 74. I'm always battling with the wife. But yeah, Ricky likes his 86.
He's got bad water in a couple weeks.
Yeah, you know.
He's heat training.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're good unless anybody has any other additional questions.
I have a question. Denny, I didn't even recognize you. That beard is out of control.
All right, now let's not be picking
looks
on
soft.
everybody.
It looks soft.
You've been locked down. You can't get a haircut. You can't get anything done around here.
Oh yeah, I know a couple guys probably come over there and cut your hair for you.
I thought
I love to try.
or Santa Claus, one or the other. I didn't know what was going on.
I think Keith Schmidt can line up. You can be the 336 Santa Claus. They can fast rope you right in.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of which, though, Tim, if you need any help, give me a shout.
Okay, thank you.
Whatever you need, man, I'll be there. If you need 2 hands to make up for the one you lost, I could help you out there too.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Yep.
Tim, you're in Spokane, right?
Yeah.
You got a couple other friends here. Keith Schmidt, I think he likes the woodwork. I don't know.
Sure, you can use me.
He knows some people.
Oh man.
Yeah, but you know how it is with SERE guys asking for help.
Yeah.
It's like training a new guy. It's like, man, it'd just be so much faster if I did it myself.
Yeah, I'm not going to guarantee you won't be supervising.
It's okay. If I'm definitely, I think I told this to Ricky as like, I think that, you know, the work that, cause I'm not organizing everything. I'm not running the emails. I'm not doing all the hard work like those guys do, marking trails and stuff. Obviously not this year, but I was like, I think that this is like my penance for the race is that once things get going, I'll work for a couple days straight, just solid on staining and finishing and sawdust and all that. I think that it's my penance to put in for, you know, for the race and the memorial and the Corwin family when that one comes back around. So I'm happy to struggle by myself, but I'm also not too proud to admit that or too proud to ask for help if I get in deep, and I will for sure.
Fair enough. Yeah,
I thank you
respect you,
guys.
brother, for what you're doing, though, too. Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for joining us on the happy hour. Just so everybody knows that tomorrow, in typical fashion for Canixie Ultras, we're going to kick off the event with the 0600 hour SERE Memorial, where we'll call off each person's name. And for us out at Canixie Ultras, we like to signify, you know, and remember their passing with a good old big, nice, huge elk bugle that kicks off out there. So one of the things that we're going to do is still continuing in that same fashion. Tonight, after this call, I'll put up a link, another Zoom link for folks to get on, and we'll be on tomorrow morning to kick off the event. I know that a bunch of people actually went up to the race course tonight, actually, they're headed up there. Amy Midstoke, I don't know if you know her or if you remember her, but she was part of an all-female team a few years ago. She's been training for a few years on attempting to get into the Blister Club and doing it solo. So she's going to go up tomorrow and start at 0612, and she'll be doing her solo event in conjunction with another guy named Jeffrey, who is part of the Blister Club as well. He's going to be up there working with them. Home felts are going to go up tonight, I think, and Chloe's going to throw her legs down on the Tall Trees course for an 18-mile set. So she'll be up there doing that with her dad. And we have Darcy Kloss, who won the K50 for the female side a few years ago, and actually last year, I think. She's two-time, right? She fell out one year. Was that last year?
I don't know.
Yeah, so she's been on the course multiple times, but she's running also in memory. She's going to be posting back and forth, but and there's a bunch of other folks that have gone up just to support some other runners as well up there on the course. So that's really cool to see. And I can't wait to see everybody else throughout the next month or so start to knock down their run challenge, whatever the distances that they are. As we said before, this whole thing for us, what's motivating us is to just try to raise as much funds as we can for the SERE Memorial. And that's across the board. So being able to switch virtually, I think, is amazing for us to be able to, offer this up and be able to see people all across the globe put down the mileage that they're going to put down. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at KinnickSueUltra@gmail.com or just hit us through the race link. If you are skeptical about your race time or whatever it is, or you have questions about that and need to know how to calculate it, feel free to hit us up at any point in time. Like I said before, this is all just a race challenge to just get people up and in solidarity for SERE Memorial. And that's really what this is all about. I'd like to thank the Corwins. The Corwins obviously have been a huge supporter of us over the years, with the event, from just supporting this side of the house as well as donations and fundraising and things like that too. So I'd like to thank you guys for everything that you do for us, as well as the Kinnick Ultra board. The board has been around for the inception of the race, starting with Austin and Merez, as some of the OGs and a bunch of other folks that are on here as well, and then has grown and has been modified throughout the years. But, those folks have definitely been spinning wheels on a lot of the different events that we are beginning to put on. So, next year, we cannot wait to get back out on the course and actually be able to see everybody again and gather up. I think one of the things that I miss the most about this year that we've implemented over the last few years is watching the beer mile go down, the SERE beer mile. Last year, Steve Moyer took it, and I think he ran like a 7:40 mile with 4 beers every quarter mile. It was disgusting. Andy Ballard's son, they had the root beer mile. They're the root beer mile champions. They were like 9 and 10 years old, knocking out, chugging root beer, which is crazy to me. But I think that's what I miss, is just the camaraderie and the family gatherings that we get to do. So hopefully that the next few days and next few weeks, we'll be able to high five and cheers everybody throughout the week when they accomplish their mileage. And that's really it. You got anything?
Just see what if the Corns have anything to say, anything to share, a favorite memory or anything like that from what you missed the most. I know you guys miss your essential cabin up there in the.
I know. I had it booked. I should have kept it if I knew that that Amy and Jeffrey were going up there. I could have, because I had 2 cabins already purchased, but I just, after it all went, I got refunded. Our favorite cabins, yeah. No big burgers at the Shady Beaver. Shady Beaver breakfast, my favorite thing. We have so many good memories to share. It would take all night. So, that's.
I ain't got anywhere to go.
You don't have anywhere to go?
But I just think it's because I think that's probably the most important thing of this event is once you're there and once you've done it, once you've sat around that fire circle and you very much feel like it's a family event. And
yeah.
I don't ever want to lose that. I just think it's just so awesome, especially if you're up when, everybody's in or like the last rucker comes in and then.
Yeah, that's my favorite part, staying up and waiting for the last person to come in, except for those, that group that was from Nevada, because they never came in and I was like, I'm going to bed. and then you stayed out all night and searched for them.
Well, thank God Merez
Couple
did
years ago.
anyway.
Huh?
I said, thankfully Merez did. Yeah, he searched for him all night by himself.
Yeah, it was, and then we watched a really rough drive behind Ricky going back to Spokane that morning. We're like, what's happening to his U-Haul? It's all over the road. And then I think we called Merez and said, we think there's something wrong with Ricky. He's all over the road, and you called him to keep him awake for the drive.
Oh man.
Right. And he lied to me. He told me everything was good. I'm fine. My eyes are only blinking for 2 seconds at a time. I'm
It's all
okay.
good inside. We're good. We're good.
But that's how we were the first year, 2014, when it was a point to point, and we were staying back at Beaver Lodge. So we had to drive back from the end to Beaver Lodge. I don't know how many miles that was, but like on fumes, thinking we're going to run out of gas. Not only are we either going to go over the guardrail or we are going to run out of gas.
It's almost an hour drive.
It was long.
Jason and I have got plenty of stories driving back from that race. I mean, it seems like every time you shut that thing down, you pack that truck up, it's just something about that seat of that truck. It just makes you want to. It's hard to stay awake. There's a lot of work that goes into that, but it's.
Yeah, you guys put so much work into it. It's amazing
Thank
what
you
you
for
pull
all you do.
together. Yeah.
I think one of my favorite memories is when we actually had our first Blister Club member, and that was Keith Homefelt. And you went up to him and you gave him that bracelet, and it was
At the start.
Yeah, it crushed him. You know, that just wearing Corin's bracelet just.
Yeah, he had to finish. That's
He's
why.
like, I can't.
couldn't-
Yeah, I
he
can't.
couldn't,
And when
he
he
was
crossed,
like, damn it,
yeah,
damn it. At like mile 40, he was like, oh, stupid bracelet.
Jeff is wearing. Jeff has got
Jeff
Emery's hat.
has Emery's hat. I told him if
It's
he
going out there
loses it
tomorrow.
on the trail, he'll be hiking that course until he finds it. And so,
that's awesome.
yeah.
I mean, and when he finished, I mean, I was pretty emotional because you gave him a big hug, and there's been a lot of moments like that for me with the race, and I just remember it was just such a fitting name. Like we went back and forth on what we were going to name the event, and then when he pulled his shoes off, I mean, his feet were just trashed, and he was. I don't think he trained real hard for it, but I mean, Keith's just such a tough individual, and he's pretty much accomplished everything that we have to offer up there. And he's doing the late arrivals too, so
yeah,
he's all about doing things hard. But I just remember his feet, and it was just like, man, it's a fitting name for this event. So that's definitely one of my favorites.
that's wild. I think one of my favorites is just how much you lean on Merez for getting shit done.
I mean, he's pretty much the. I mean, he's the alpha on Granite. If we didn't have him on Granite Peak, I don't know what we'd do. I mean, before Jason, there was Sobo. So.
Oh, Jason was my hero when I hiked to the top of Granite Peak and I was sweating and then I was freezing, and he was like, "Drink this hot water, you'll be fine." And I was like, "Hot water?
This tastes like whiskey."
I feel like you're giving me too much credit. Like all I gotta do is like wake up real early and just do lazy stuff all day long. Like that's Reed's test for Merez. Is like
Lay up on your rock
all day long. And the rest is on me. Like, oh, you didn't take your backpack? That's gonna cost you.
You know, another one of my favorite things was that 2014 year when I thought that I did my leg fast, but I did not do it fast at all. And we put Lila in the dark. She was the last leg, and she had a substandard headlamp, and all she could see was her breath, she said. And she kept falling, and because she was running in the fog. And then I can't remember who it was, because we thought, oh, maybe we'll just like pull her out. It was like at one of the aid stations.
There was 250
But there were
milers.
250. Who was it? It was Caleb, maybe? Is that his name? He was with someone else, and she continued on with them, kind of following in their footsteps. But she was swearing like she came out like just the language coming out of her mouth as she came through, like just livid that she couldn't see, and she was tripping and falling in her fog. And then we came in right ahead of Bethany,
Yep.
of her team. And that's what put us, we were nearly last, but we co-ed team, it was like, quick, trip Bethany, tear her Achilles so we win.
Nikki wasn't a part of that first year. There's not many people that were, but that last 10 miles of trail
It was so funny.
was, I mean, it was storied, at least from the guys in the front. I remember Joaquin just talking about it. It's just a never ending up and down. It's just a meat grinder there at the end. And it's kind of dark because it's in like that Tacoma draw.
Well, the dirt bike ruts were terrible.
What's that?
The dirt bike ruts.
Yeah.
The last 10 miles, navigating those was difficult.
Yeah, it was definitely a very chewed up section of trail, and commend all those people that roughed through that, especially with not much of a headlamp. So
Your description of that section didn't do it justice.
you were on that last lap.
Yeah, I was.
That's too funny.
Yeah, it's pretty dark in there, and that's also like the same spot that I saved Dylan Cedillo's life from cougar attack. Right in the area. Cougars.
I always thought he could outrun a cougar. He's pretty fast.
We were both very surprised. I think the cougar saw me and he was like, "Man, I don't want to mess with that one. I would eat that other one though. He looks real scrumptious." And then probably the next favorite memory is all the post-race breakfast. You know, at Beaver Lodge, it's kind of like a tradition of the staff. We go and have really bad coffee and 50 minutes for some eggs and hash browns.
My worst Beaver Lodge breakfast, I don't know what possessed me to order oatmeal. Like, why? Why would you get oatmeal at Beaver Lodge? And it came in the bowl, and the oats were pretty much raw. They were, I don't know how but it's like, okay, that's what you get for not getting an omelet. Or
I think Ricky, I know it saved Jason, it saved Ricky, Sully too. I mean, when you get off the trail and you've done all day marking and you get to go have a messy beaver, those will save your life.
That's for sure. Definitely is true.
Sorry, we hijacked the conversation a little bit.
For what? No,
I don't know.
Sweet. Well, somebody have a question?
Well, I was just going to say we'll see you all in the morning.
Absolutely.
Definitely. See you in the morning, for sure. All right, I think we're going to end that. Thanks for everybody for calling in. It's great.
All right, take care, everybody.
Yep, see y'all.
Thanks, Denny.